So all the comps look pretty good. Cirrus is the lowest. You can put my maybe put my lights down a little. Would that help with glare, or does that hurt it?
What do you need, Bob?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah.
We can. Well, I could bring the lowers down and see how it looks.
I think they were up because of the cliff, so we can try. I know there's always glare off this white sediment, but
I'm gonna cycle your valve packs. We've got the leak detection.
Does cycling get rid of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Just once a day, or?
I did it yesterday.
Okay.
And it cycled fine. It's both valve packs, so
yeah.
Not sure what the deal is. There we go.
Yeah, if you could put my sonar out one more, I think if there was a rock, it might show up just a little further out. There we go.
Touch screens need to be
That
calibrated.
looks good. You can see there's data all the way out to 50. Right.
So much.
So it looks like, at least above the sediment here, the rock, the exposed rock is generally cobble-sized, 10 to maybe 30 centimeters at most. On the right-hand side, 3 o'clock to the lasers, can we snap zoom on that longer white structure?
Yeah, video snap zoom. Hold there.
So that looks like a sponge, although really wild kind of oscula sticking up on these extremely long stalks. The body of the sponge, I think, is mostly down low. There's at least one associate on there, a shrimp. Two brittle stars on top. And then to the lower left of that sponge, once we get an image of that, that's a, yeah, trying to figure out what that is. I think it's a zoanthid or anemone covered something.
Setting down. It's the longest snap zoom ever.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, we're satisfied there. I think I know what that is.
Okay.
So that looks.
Now that I'm here, we can do a hold it for 10 seconds.
And I'm moving now, so I'm catching up to you.
Okay, video, you can go in. This is interesting curl.
Yeah, I think it belongs to one of the black corals that we've been seeing lately, although it could be something else. We've been seeing a number of these orange-black corals that have this intense spiral shape, although this coil is extremely tight, which could be an indication that it's some sort of Iridogorgia type octocoral colony. Difficult to say without actually seeing the animal. We haven't seen any Iridogorgia yet, so I'm going to default that it's probably more closely associated with the
lasers,
with the black corals we've seen in the area.
All right. And we can go wide.
How does the lighting look to you, video? Are you happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm moving. Camera's down at 45 degrees.
Okay. So we'll just, assuming there's nothing going on, we'll just watch the ship stop. Wait a minute.
Reevaluate.
Yeah, and then just put in another 40. Keep going.
Okay.
And Nav, if
again delayed, so apologies, but it's impressive how well that zoanthid is overgrown that
maybe
coil.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
Do you agree, co-pilot?
Anything at all underneath, which is what makes it so hard to say
so
what that is.
If I'm up ahead and they want a really good zoom or a sample,
extremely tight
you
coil.
I ask the ship to come to an easy stop.
Haven't seen anything like that that would have that sort of skeletal arrangement on the dive so far.
Yeah,
if I'm
I think there are some foraminifera, maybe some polyps that build some tubes like that. I'll have to dig through the literature. But the scale, I
If
don't think was
I got
right.
behind
That was a
already,
little
like
bit
just
too
then I
big
was
for
zooming,
that, so
and then if they
probably
said,
more
oh,
likely
you know
something
what,
you're
we'd like to
saying,
sample
but
that.
we haven't seen those black corals today.
You
Yeah.
don't want Sirius to go another minute forward.
Yeah, that's
So you might
interesting
actually call
because
for, say,
was
10
at least
meters reverse. So
4 centimeters, I
keep
would
in
say.
mind,
About 4 centimeters
020
in
would
height,
be
maybe
200.
5 centimeters.
So you just say, ship, could you come to an easy stop and then do
So
a
I think a
10
little
meter
bit large
move
to be a
bearing
serpulid, but yeah, it could be
200.
anything.
And then as I'm doing my zoom or taking the sample, Sirius would just creep back. That happens pretty rarely, but it's a good trick to have.
Things looking good. And so is waypoint 3.
Steve, can you give me an audio test for timing purposes?
I guess it kind of curves to the northwest.
Yes, Scott?
I usually just use the zoom out minus plus and then make a window.
Fantastic. The
I
delay
find the
issue
scrolling
is
is
solved
terrible.
down to
I
2
see,
seconds.
just saw. I see. So it's all pretty flat now. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
You got a fish coming up center.
Yep. I'm creeping up on it. All right. Let's start zooming now in case I scare it. But I'm still moving.
This looks like a different eel than we've seen down lower. We saw
Let's start with lasers.
something
so we
that
can
could be a
get them off.
congrid eel
Yeah.
earlier, but this one looks darker in coloration and whiter on the belly.
Okay. Can get lasers off.
Lasers off.
Still pretty far out there.
So just wait a minute.
Nice eel motion there.
And I'll look around.
Excellent. We get both sides of it
Yeah, he's very
for
cooperative.
identification.
Tilting up.
Can we get a better shot on the head?
Sure. I'll
Head
try to
region.
center the head. Moves.
Kind of from the gills forward.
Of course, now he turns away.
Yeah. There we go.
That's max zoom.
Okay. Alright, I'll have to get closer if we want a better zoom
Yeah.
on the head.
If you have time, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
if
give
we
our-
go wide, I'll just get closer. He doesn't seem scared.
There's a bit of a delay on our feed, and we want to make sure we can give the shore side enough time.
So I'm probably just about settled in.
Steve,
for
it
you to
was
finish
just
with this
reported
fish
the
and
delay
jump
is
on and move
solved.
in.
Scott's down to 2 seconds.
Yeah, I've just put a message in the chat room about what I did to solve that delay problem. Hopefully that'll fix it for everybody.
Standby video coming down.
Excellent.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Okay, so it's going to be real flat from here on out. It's
Yeah.
like- so, yeah, we can do the 005. We'll just do another 40 meters, 005.
So we,
Speed
when
decimal two.
when you left, when we saw those bunch of corals, we did see a red siderid. We didn't get a good zoom on. But
Okay.
Very red. From spine
Okay,
tip
Betty,
to
you can
spine
start
tip, it
going
was
in.
easily 25 centimeters. Or
Whoa.
like 20 centimeters.
Wow.
It was
Was
big.
it all red, or the body was
Coming to
white
port.
with red
The
spines?
spines were white. The body was red.
Red.
Tilting down.
But it looked like it was on top of an old coral colony, so I don't know if it was predation or grazing or what. as good as we're gonna get.
About a minute and a half of swing, Carl.
Okay.
Okay, pilot, I think we'll send those images back to the shore and we'll let them chew on that for a little bit.
All right. He was pretty cooperative.
Okay. Once you're full wide, I'll get lasers back on.
All right. Is that ship moving?
Yep.
All right.
And 005, which I'm lined up with.
Perfect. Nice work, video.
Nice following there, pilot.
Tilting up.
Yep.
My sonar has a few small rocks ahead.
I'm very
Just
interested in
45
seeing
degrees.
what's
Yeah,
that
the
waypoint 3, but
Waypoint 3.
I
Decent
really gotta
one,
make some
26 meters
tracks
out.
here. We'll see how we
We're
do.
coming. We're getting closer to the
Yeah.
top of this
So your camera's back at 45 degrees.
mound.
All right.
You have these outcrops that have this really high diversity of organisms, and then they kind of plateau to this soft sediment
Yep.
area.
Yeah. Yeah, you never know though when you're gonna have flat areas that could be current swept, and those current swept areas can sometimes have a lot of attached fauna.
Fish coming up the
This
center.
might be a
See
different.
that?
I mean, we are much closer to shore, so
This time
it's
I'll
likely
get
they have
closer
a
first so
little
we don't have to
higher
do it
rate of
twice.
sedimentation, but you don't know what the currents are like in an area in the deep until you are actually down there.
Okay, video, you can zoom.
Yep. I don't
Looks
need
like another
well
tripod
on
fish.
it.
But
I just want a quick shot.
Yep.
Okay.
Bathyterois, species name viridensis.
Watch lead. Have we seen this one today?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also seeing some, just in passing, some xenophyophores in the sediment, which are benthic foraminifera. Sometimes they look like little balls of sand that have ridges and valleys in them. And that's
I
plot
was
of the
seeing
wind
that.
speed.
They kind of look like
Back up on SCS.
like
Nice.
sponges, but covered in sediment
Right.
type things.
Is
Yeah,
that what it is?
they're
think
low lying to the ground.
It covers something else. that
yeah. So
people
there's
wanna
a
see,
there's a
but
lot of benthic
until we hear
foraminifera.
differently.
Some form pretty elaborate structures. Some form like these. This actually looks more like a sponge,
Yeah.
I'll go
but
check out
they
the
can
rock
get quite elaborate.
15 meters away.
Coming up and tilting my camera down 50 degrees.
And it's actually a single-celled
So how far is waypoint
organism
2 now from me?
that forms these
Like
agglutinated
73.
sediment clusters.
Yep.
Okay. Maybe we can do the next one 50. And then be ready to stop the ship if we need, but
Sure.
because that'll be 3 moves away, and then we'll just be there.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
What average pace do we need to keep? Okay.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Great.
Okay, here's some of the rocks that were in my sonar.
Any one
Pilot.
of these.
Yes.
Pilot, there's that brittle star. I don't know if you could go back. There's
Sure.
that might be. Can you snap zoom on that? That might be a rock.
It looks rocky. There is a sponge up ahead on the next outcrop, though. I've been noticing a lot of these brittle stars,
With really, really long arms.
long arms, outstretched on the soft sediment bottom.
Okay, we have lasers. Video, you can go in.
Yeah. Quite spiny, brittle star. Yeah, I think that's a rock.
That's a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looks like a squat lobster.
Tilting up to the center.
Yeah, there's some kind of crustacean in there. Probably a squat lobster. I don't see any sponges on this, though.
Tilting my camera down.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah,
an
let's
encrusting
go up to the
sponge.
squat lobster if you're ready.
It's tough to tell.
Looking at you 70 degrees.
Then I'll have to move.
Yeah.
He just looks cute.
Yeah, I think the only sponges we're seeing are some small encrusting sponges, one above the squat lobster, one below, one to the upper left.
Okay, once you're happy, video.
Okay.
Move on.
Science is satisfied, I think.
Yeah.
We were
When
just
we
trying to
come
figure out if a lot of these
center
cobbly,
left,
rocky
there was a
looking
fish.
size things on the bottom are sponges or
still
not,
up.
but
There
I
he
think
is.
there's a fair amount of
Coming up.
cobblestone rubble
Tilting my
around
camera
here.
down a bit more.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get this fish on the way by.
90 degrees.
Okay to snap.
Yep. Just for a few seconds.
Looks like another grenadier, macrurid fish.
Coming wide.
Okay. Moving on.
I think that was placed in the genus Nizumia, but
This stocked creature there.
could have been slightly
Your
different
upper left.
species, but
Yeah,
I think
I think
it
that's
looks
right here.
almost identical to the last
Are you still moving?
Nizumia we saw.
Okay. Yeah.
The large sponge.
It's a really big sponge.
Yeah, looking back 100 degrees.
Pushing forward.
Copy that. We just lost our clock. Oh, there it is.
Pilot, this is Watchley.
Go
Can
ahead.
you zoom on this, I believe, large sponge?
Yes. I'll get a little closer so we can look down on it.
Camera is at 60 degrees.
Okay.
Ship vector makes it look like we're just coming to a stop now.
Sounds good. Thank you, Nev. Okay, we can get lasers off.
Lasers off.
And your
Yeah,
freezing
It's got a little
video.
nodule.
I wonder if that's another individual or just an extension. So it looks like a sponge here. Can't really see any characters that would tell us if it's a demo sponge or what. It's very fouled on the outside. There's a lot of detritus. I think this one might be a little big.
Big, yeah. Maybe
unless-
the nodule.
Yeah, pilot.
Yes.
Are you in a good position to potentially sample a piece of this?
I think we're pretty well set up.
Yeah, we could do that.
So I was thinking, this is probably too big to take, and we don't want
Yes.
that big of a sponge, but maybe the nodule on the left-hand side?
Try to clip it off.
Yeah.
Okay. Video, if you come wide.
Do we have any other samples, Nav?
Watch lead, how would you describe, is this going to be crunchy or soft,
It's probably gonna be rubbery if
Spon-
it's
yeah.
rubbery.
Spongy, if that
It's
helps.
like it's
Spongy.
shallower counter partner.
Okay.
I'm going to take your mini Zeus.
It's not if it's not going to shatter. I think is what we're trying to say,
Gotcha.
and it won't float most likely.
And Tony, I'm going to put mini Zeus in this
Co-pilot,
monitor, so
will
if you
you
don't
do-
mind
Maybe a
keeping an eye on Sirius camera. In that
Do
monitor.
joy lock.
Sure. Ready?
Yep.
Okay, ready for monitor?
Yes. Oh, watch. Do you think this will float or sink while I try to get it in the box?
Supposedly it's dense and very crunchy, so
Okay.
it should possibly not float.
I'm going to take your Zeus rotator.
Perfect. Okay, arm coming on.
Would you like starboard or port firebox?
It's like that little node
I
on the
think we'll
side was
do-
made for sampling. This is a massive sponge.
I guess since
This
we
is-
don't know if it'll sink and it has no
It's
length,
about the
we
size
should
of a
probably do
beach
one of
ball.
the port ones. Yeah.
Okay, maybe not that big. Maybe a volleyball.
No.
A little bit smaller.
I'm trying to think what 30 centimeters are like.
Beach ball.
Tilt up a bit.
Maybe
Yeah.
baseball, softball.
Softball.
Good.
The small node is like
Oh
a
yeah,
softball.
yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing. I
Oh,
was
yeah, the whole
thinking
thing.
of,
Yeah.
Yeah. Softball or baseball.
Oops. Just don't want to unseat it at all. How's that look?
It's pretty good. Tilting down. Clear for the box.
Yeah, actually, let's do starboard.
We do starboard. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Opening the drawer.
Okay. Will you also bring starboard swing arm around as we talked about?
Sure. My port wing is a little close to the ground, but that's full extension.
Excellent.
So you want starboard upper swing
Upper,
arm
yeah.
stowed slightly.
Yeah.
How's that?
That looks good. Yeah, that's what we wanted.
Better.
That's a
the
good
box.
collection.
Retracting the drawer.
Arm coming off.
Camera's back to you. Actually, I'll fix your mini Zeus. Bring that back up. Tony's got a target dropped. Just good.
Yeah, that light helps a lot.
Yeah,
So you brought it
does.
in, and then you brought it.
I brought it in almost full stow,
Mhm.
and then just brought it up a little bit.
Oh, because it was so far down,
Yeah.
it was aimed back into the
Right.
vehicle. Gotcha.
That that really did provide a lot more contrast. Okay.
All right, so we can get that next move.
Is there something crawling really big to the right? I see.
Crawling to the right.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We got the lasers on?
Sure. We'll do a 005 once again.
Yep.
Maybe after we're done with this guy, we'll
Yeah.
call it in.
Yeah, I still have a little tether after I'm done with him, too. Your
Yep.
camera's 60.
But the next move will be 50 meters at 005. We'll wait till he's done imaging the crab.
Okay to zoom pilot, or are you going to center him?
Yeah, I'm going to try to center him. He's
Okay.
just he's turning, so.
He's prepared.
Okay, we can get lasers off.
Lasers off.
Oh, this big guy.
This could be a type of spider crab or possibly a lithodid crab, but it looks a little.
Okay, video, free to zoom.
The first pair of
You tilt
appendages
me
looks a
down
little
touch.
different
Take
than
the camera.
lithodids, so I would say it's
Take
probably a type of spider crab.
Okay.
Holding there.
We're getting at his Ruchina crassa.
It's a full species.
Maybe tilt down a touch to get those
Also
bottom
known as
legs.
the inflated spiny crab.
Holding there.
Doesn't look inflated to me,
No.
but that's what it is. Eating something.
Eating.
Well, they're very good. It's probably one of the largest crabs we've seen so far.
We can follow him for a second before we take off.
I always wondered why they needed such long arms
Yeah.
Down a bit.
if they're scavengers.
Could
I
you,
guess
will you come out of touch so we can see the movement? The
maybe
legs?
because they have such long
There we
legs.
go.
Still tilting down.
But my guess is that they use their long legs to move through this soft sediment, which can be a little challenging because it seems to be well
Alright, he's
consolidated,
inside the
but
skids. Let's take off.
Also maybe helps
Before
them
he gets
scale
me.
up these
The
really
walls,
sharp
yeah.
walls.
Tony, when you're ready. And camera back to you. Oh, hold on.
Oh, there's me.
It's yours.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. Copy.
Rachnina crassa. The family Epialtidae. I had not seen that family of crabs or that particular genus before.
That was, we called in 5-0 that time, right?
50 at 005. Yep.
We're getting serious.
Not too much attached here. There's a few sponges. I'm noticing a few crinoids as well in the sediment. Arms extended. Nothing we haven't imaged yet. Seems to be a larger structure in the background,
Yeah,
though,
I
I can see. It could be more fan-shaped or very similar.
So as soon as I'm done with this rock, I'll center back up.
Okay.
I know this
I
isn't
wonder
the
if
best
this is a
place to be
smaller
in
version of the
50 meter
sponge we
move.
just collected.
I'll tilt my camera down a bit.
It's not as
55
fouled as the
degrees.
other one.
Yeah, the
It's
morphology
nice.
is, yeah.
Video snap.
I don't
zoom
think
on
it would
the
be
sponge.
unreasonable to call this Geodia as well. But the,
Okay.
like we were saying, it's not as well groomed.
No.
It's quite fouled.
Okay, whenever you're clear, video.
And Tony, one thing you can do, once you drop a target, it automatically keeps that selected. So if you right-click waypoint 2 again and say select target, then your bearing and distances on the left will be from the vehicle, yeah. It's a quick way to measure distance to the next waypoint.
Watch, lead, any interest in this?
Yeah, can we snap zoom?
Sure.
Okay, so you're off
Okay,
screen.
video, clear to zoom. Yeah, got this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'll head back.
Oh, and it looks
So
like
it is a-
another.
Turn my head just a little bit.
Okay.
Keep your light pool in view.
It is a sponge, or was a sponge.
Looks like one of those other crabs
Yeah,
hiding itself
and-
under a sponge.
Yeah, I don't think it's doing a great job because
No.
that's totally a different sponge.
I just scared the crab. Video, come wide for a moment.
But yeah, it
Video
looks
wide.
maybe
Okay.
like a homalid crab.
Snap zooms are never snap zooms, are they?
Holding a.
All right, let's get out of here.
Okay, so I turned my head about 20 degrees to
Okay,
port.
driving back to center.
I missed that. Well, I'm a little surprised
Fish on the left.
with all this
center.
soft bottom that there isn't more characteristic soft bottom fauna like sea pens, but
Okay, can we get lasers
Yeah,
on
it's-
Copilot?
I suspect that it's probably a
Okay.
relatively
can go in
thin
video.
veneer of sediment overlying some pretty substantial hard bottom. You know, we are on the edge of what is seen to be a cliff.
I'm creeping in.
We're still not quite up on the middle of the ridge yet, but we're getting there.
Tilting down.
Okay,
Camera's back at 45 degrees.
perfect.
Oh, it looks like one of those bivalves, those slip knot.
Sirius is just
Oh.
about on
Oh,
Oh, there it goes.
I think that's something else.
Is that something else?
Yeah, there's
you
a
wanna
there's a
come wide
specific
video,
type
see if
of
we can
mollusk
find it?
that does this type of spiral.
There
I
it is.
Yeah,
can't
he's
remember
down
the name
here
of
in
it
the
now.
front.
Yeah, I'm trying to think too. The jumping snail.
Margaret, no, I thought it was something else. It had a very distinct name. Then it had the ability to swim
Yeah.
using.
I'm trying to think of the genus name, but it's definitely a snail.
Yeah.
I'll get it.
Okay, video, free to zoom.
I saw one of these climbing a wall once, and it just popped off, and it just started swirling.
Swimming.
Like, yeah, no, this is not a slit
The
shell. It's
yeah, you
something
don't
else.
see the slit, yeah, on the
Tilting
side.
my camera down.
Okay,
Looking at you 75 degrees.
copy that.
Oh, there it goes again. Can actually gain some altitude.
Okay, video, time for me to go.
Yep.
We're already wide. No more rocks and sonar.
Tilting up. Camera's at 45.
The depth right now is 684 meters. Temperature is at
The next move,
8.7
we could do 50 meters at
degrees
point
Celsius.
1. Leave a little more time to zoom on stuff if you'd like. That would keep us on our average pace needed to get to waypoint 3. If you feel rushed.
Yeah. It's an alternating rushed and not rushed.
Yeah. Does that move about another 10 meters or so?
Snap zoom here video.
Okay.
Yep. Oh yeah, there's a
Nice
cup
cup
coral.
coral.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's not one I'm familiar with. But there are many cup coral species in the Caribbean.
Okay, setting down here. And tilting up. Whoop. Video come out partial. Very soft sediment here. Get settled.
Oh, there's a,
Stock sponge.
yeah, looks like a hyala nematid.
Tilting down.
Okay, video. Free to zoom.
My camera's at 65 degrees.
Thanks for this close-up, pilot. This is not one we've seen. It has a very low profile cup on this cup coral. Not a very large stalk or stem. I don't know how we're going to be able to identify this, but it narrows down things a little bit. But we can look for it. These types of things are extremely small and notoriously difficult to sample, so we're going to just get some images of it and move on.
All right. Whenever you're clear, video.
We have a long track left to dive today.
Do you want to try point 1? We can speed it up if it's too slow. Keep going at point 2.
I think that one okay.
Okay.
We can always stop if there's something that I need.
All right.
I'll get out. Let me get out ahead though, and then we'll call it.
Okay.
Because you still have a minute or two.
Yeah, another minute or so.
Okay.
It looks like a majority of these, couple of fish here and there.
Copy
I
that.
think they are.
They're branching the stalks with.
I think they're sponge stalks that have been recolonized or colonized by zoanthids. We've seen a number of them. They all look fairly uniform. Yeah, I haven't seen any sea pens in this area, and I've been keeping an eye out, and I don't think any of these are sea pens that I can see. That one looks like there might be a sponge still on it, and maybe a brittle star
Quick
wrapped
zoom on
I
around
wonder
the
if the
sponge.
brittle stars are eating them.
Possibility.
Seems like there's...
You always think that the brittle stars are kind of these neutral parties, but it could be possible.
It's interesting to see all of these glass sponge stalks without the sponge body on them, and it suggests that the zoanthids colonize the stalk are preserving those stalks for a long period of time, so they still have a habitat to
Once he's
get up
done
above
with
the
this,
sediment.
we'll put in a move of 50 meters.
Right.
005.
I guess you could call that a form of community
decimal
succession.
knots.
Well, in terms of brittle star time, this yellow one is booking it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like that. Looks like the colonization of this particular sponge in front of us doesn't look all that old as compared to some of the larger ones we've seen. But it seems as though the zoanthid is something that colonizes relatively early. I haven't seen very many that are not covered with zoanthids.
Okay, free to zoom video.
A lot of xenophyophores in the sediment here.
Tilting up to the top.
Looks like an ophiacanthid, some type of spiny ophiuroid,
Smack soon.
brittle star.
Copy.
Can we get a zoom on the fish on the way out that was nearby?
Yeah, we did look at
We
that for a
have.
while.
Okay. We had another request to get a better shot on the side.
Okay. Yeah, he
Yeah,
could have
he
his...
wasn't very.
It was
Forward to
tail towards us.
We'll try to get a side shot.
There he is.
Actually, we might be able to do it from here. I'll tilt up. Okay, there's the fish.
All right. There's a
All right.
side shot.
And now I'll pull out and get the laces.
Okay.
I don't immediately recognize that one. Have we
Lasers on?
seen that one?
I'm not
Yes.
sure.
I don't think
No.
so.
To tell you the truth.
All right.
Yeah, about 4 centimeters.
When video is done,
Okay.
getting the shots they need, we're satisfied to move
we're
on.
Good.
All right. Time to move.
We'll go ahead and call it in.
It's like a cemetery for these stalk glass sponges.
Yeah,
Another
I always
fish
wondered,
coming in the
how
upper right.
deep do these sponges have to lay down their
2 of them.
stalk to
Yeah,
make it
I
so
see them.
stable in the sediment? I mean, I'm assuming it's stable because they
There's a set of 30.
probably takes a while for things to colonize.
Okay,
Trash,
let's go
you
in
think?
on fish center.
Yeah,
fish.
this is a new
Fish.
one.
Yeah.
Tilting up
cute.
my camera 45 degrees.
It's like a Chonex.
Chonax.
Okay, coming down.
Good
Come
old
out.
Chonax.
Partial video. Setting down.
Clear
You
with
can get-
lasers.
Yep.
Chonex and goosefish, my favorite.
Yeah?
I think because they look so grumpy.
I always thought
They
it
have
was just
personality.
disappointment.
No, I think it's personality.
Tilting up. Okay, free to zoom video. back to starboard.
It's a first for this dive. We've seen Chonax. We'll have to get a better idea on the species, but we've seen Chonax at least 3 other sites on this
See my
expedition.
reflection in his eyes.
It's going to do a little waddle.
Oh.
Oh.
Take off.
When I
See those
come out of touch
modified,
so we can see his legs video.
modified pectoral fins picking up off the bottom.
There you go.
All right. It looks like we've got an ID,
Nice.
or at least enough information to talk about an ID. So I can move on when video has gotten their material.
Just hoping he was going to take off.
Yeah. Okay, then we had another fish to the right.
Fish to the right.
And we will have to do these quickly. We just called it a long move.
I am underway, looking down at 55 degrees.
Okay, can we get lasers back on?
Lasers on.
Okay, we can go in.
Very good. It looks like another possible conger deal. We got some really good images of this a little bit deeper.
Coming back up.
Very good. Thanks, pilot.
You're welcome. Okay, video, whenever you're clear. Come on out.
So, pilot, this is watch lead.
Go ahead, watch lead.
I was just looking at HIPAX, and waypoint 2 is not a hard and fast target. So if there is a top or spine of this ridge that you feel like it's more or less the top, we can just continue that towards that in the direction of waypoint 3.
Okay. Yeah, based on the sonars and visually, it's pretty flat, but we will keep trying to find any uphills that we can find.
Appreciate it.
We can come to port a little bit after this move.
Yeah, that might cut the corner a little to get up.
Yep.
Okay. This move is still 005, right?
Yeah, so I'll keep it there for now, but after this move we could kind of just turn to waypoint 3. It's pretty flat here. I think it's up here. Yeah.
Might be good to do.
Up and over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in case there is an actual spine of any sort.
Do you want to drop a target right about here, Tony? Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah. So after this move, we'll move toward that target. Sure, yeah. We're gonna delete it later anyway, so just whatever you want to
You want to zoom on that eel?
keep track for yourself right now.
It might be
Just a
this.
snap.
Yeah, might be the same one, but sure. We can go in.
Gracias y buenas tardes. Buenas tardes, gracias por acompañarnos hoy. Estamos cerca de Yabucoa, 6 o 7 millas de la costa. Y hoy estamos explorando
Should be good enough.
Okay.
la
40
Reserva
degrees.
Natural de Enis María Mendoza o Punta Yeguas.
Great, thanks.
Vimos muchos
Got
peces
another one center.
en este buceo
Pretty soon. Well,
y muchos
Okay, let's do it.
corales duros y blandos. Y ahora estamos subiendo una cuesta
coming around.
y la profundidad ahora es 677 metros.
Okay, Okay, there's the profile.
Yep.
Saludos a todos.
Alright, whenever you're
Están
clear.
mirando
Okay, there'll be another one to
en
your
el
right,
Eco
to the starboard.
Exploratorio los estudiantes de
Neil
Interamericana.
up there.
Saludos.
I'm going to tilt down a bit.
There he is.
Okay.
Right on the
Y
right
toda la
side.
gente, la gente
degrees.
los gente en el Instituto de Pesquerías
Okay,
del
video,
Golfo
free to zoom.
y el Caribe en Colombia. Buenas tardes. This looks like another conger deal that we've been seeing. Seems to be pretty common in this site.
Okay,
Okay,
go wide.
yep.
How's
So-
the move progressing?
So Steve, we were talking about this earlier, and I'm not sure
20
if
meters, I think.
you know this answer to this question, but
10 meters.
these natural disturbances like hurricanes
Yeah,
that
we'll
pass
do a quick zoom
through
on
areas.
these
This was
falls
a
here.
Category 4, Hurricane Maria.
Yep.
Could it have, even though that,
Okay,
this
hold,
is-
camera down.
hold there.
oh, these are sponges,
Yeah, these look like the stocked
75
sponges,
degrees.
but small.
but yeah,
Okay.
less stocky. I wonder if these are just newly settled, or maybe they've been somehow covered up by the sediment shifting. Well, that's an interesting clue, because you can see one to the upper left, right? It's not
Yeah. It's a
colonized
little
by
bit longer.
zoanthids, and these don't appear to be colonized by zoanthids either, but the stalk appears to be buried. So
Do
yeah.
they grow from base of the stalk up?
that's a really good question. I don't know if
Probably
they
gonna
lay
pass
down
you in
a
a
stalk
moment.
first and then they grow by increasing the length of the stalk, or if they
Tilting down.
grow
90
by,
degrees.
Okay.
yeah, I don't know,
We'll have to move in a moment.
or if they grow maybe from the base further
Okay.
downwards into the sediment.
The one thing that's interesting here is that you can see there's two different sizes to these
Okay, come out
sponges.
partial
The
video.
one on the right is larger than the one on the left. And we have seen
Everything
some that are
turns
on
from
much
a quick
taller
zoom
stalks
to a
where that
second.
main body is much smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So that would
Should probably
suggest
just
to me
avoid
if
the
they're all
quick
the same
zooms.
species
I think
that
we should
they don't
rename
necessarily
snap
have to
zooms
start
as
like this and
flybys.
then elongate
Yeah.
the stalk.
Flyby is a little more.
But I agree, it's a really
descriptive of
interesting
what's
question
gonna
about the
happen.
process
Yeah.
by which
Okay,
those
Vaya.
glass spicules
Go
are
in.
laid down, and do they raise after they've achieved some size and
back
are
in
need
100
to
degrees,
get into
but-
higher flowing currents?
Should settle out
Or,
in a minute or two.
Do they raise when they're small?
Yeah, that's a good point. You can see on the one in the foreground, at least, the glass fibers that form the stalk or stem of these sponges. It's not always clear when the zoanthids are totally covering those stalks, but these fibers, they don't break down very easily. So I suppose that's a good evolutionary strategy for the zoanthids to build up on top of these stalks. When the sponge dies, they still have a fairly stable substrate for their colony to persist.
This here is pretty much stopped now.
Ship is stopped. I've got
Okay.
maybe another minute to swing, but I think we're
Okay.
safe.
Okay, pilot?
Yeah. I'm good.
Is that bluish purple thing behind it a quill worm or a fish?
I heard
It's
about
the
a
bluish
purple.
purple,
Left.
Yeah, it's just to the left of the smaller sponge.
just to the left.
Yeah, behind.
Yeah, we see it.
Didn't think it was a fish.
Yeah, it could be. I don't see any parts that are sticking out from that if it is a shell. Oh, so it could be a possible quill worm
Okay, it's come wide.
Would you like lasers on?
There.
They are. Okay.
Are you still seeing Thalassia blades as well in this area?
Yeah, seriously.
I
some of
haven't
that
seen
No.
any. Still sargassum,
Sargassum.
but
There's a lot of the little mounds and topographic high points here. I can also see from left to right on the screen what seem to be like sediment waves. These are longer undulating features. I'm guessing the small local mounds are
Grenadier Center.
some sort of
Okay, I'm gonna
infauna
go in
burrow,
for a quick zoom.
burrowing organism. Looks like another Nezumia, grenadier fish.
That should be good pilot.
Okay, come wide.
So for scientists on shore who are following along with our dive plan, we're just reaching now the vicinity of waypoint 2 in the next 50 meters or so.
All right. So what's the bearing to that target? To the target named
We
target?
may not directly go through waypoint 2, but it's a general
330
vicinity
or
that we
so.
can then cut a little bit early and head towards waypoint 3.
I think directly there. And we might end up, yeah, that looks about, if there was a ridge, that looks like it would be. Do you want to start sidling over? Looks like you are.
340 and 330. Okay, looks reasonable.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and put in 50?
Yeah, maybe one more 50 until it's a little steeper.
Okay.
So interestingly,
50
this
meters,
area,
330.
the contours
Decimal
on the bathymetry are very widely spaced, but there still is a respectable slope in this area, not completely flat. So it's promising that there could be a sharper ridge-like feature that runs along the spine in a northwest to southeast direction, or north to south direction. The depth right now is 673 meters, and the top of the mound at waypoint 3 is just shallower than 610 meters. So maybe 605 meters
Okay.
is the
40 degrees.
end target depth. In terms of larger fishes, which this dive was intended for, we didn't expect we were going to find a lot of snappers and groupers yet, but we are heading shallower, and we have seen one shark.
one shark,
One shark today. Possibly a gulper shark.
a lot of eels.
Many eels, yep.
Yeah, it looks like the top here might be good.
So get there a little early and spend some time on that.
Yeah, because we made it to the top of a mound a few days ago, but we just made it.
Didn't have time to explore.
Yeah.